For more on President-elect Trump's legal battle over this polling, let's bring in NBC News legal analyst Danny Cevallos. Danny, good morning. Always great to have you with us. So he's claiming that this is election interference. He's making this claim under Iowa's Consumer Fraud Act. Explain exactly what this case is and its strength.
Yeah, this is not a defamation case. So in that sense, it is nothing like the ABC case involving Trump. Instead, Trump is sued under Iowa's consumer protection law. And all the states have consumer protection laws. They're usually very favorable to plaintiffs' attorneys like me. They usually have very broad language, like whoever makes a false statement and someone else relies on that and they purchase services. That's why plaintiffs' attorneys usually like to sue under these. But this case is a stretch even under Iowa's permissive consumer protection law, because traditionally we're talking about someone who sells a product and they do it fraudulently and it causes damages. There are a number of problems here. What was the product or service? It was a poll that was widely reported. I mean, none of us, if we wanted to access it or get information about it, we just looked at our phones and it was for free. The other thing is that what was the fraudulent, what was the deceptive practice that affected people? So it's tied in with what were the damages, because Trump won. And then it's also tied in with what was the harm to Trump to begin with. How was Trump deceived if he is a plaintiff? He wasn't. He was never going to change his vote. Presumably, he was going to vote for himself no matter what. There are a number of different problems with this lawsuit, not the least of which is that the damages are no damages. He was elected president.
So we should show the poll showed him trailing by 3 points. He ultimately won the state and the election pretty handily, certainly in Iowa. And it was within the margin of error, too, we should note that poll. Is there a strong argument he can make in this case, or what happens next?
Yeah, well, let's say Trump's right. Let's say this was the most botched poll in the history of polls, because defending the poll itself by Selzer isn't really the key to this case. It's whether or not, even if she made the worst mistake or she did it on purpose. See, let's assume for the moment that she did it on purpose to help the Democratic Party, like is alleged in the complaint. There may still not be a cause of action, because, after all, what are polls for? They're not a hard product or service that you pay me money for and I give you, here are my poll results, Joe. Go use them reasonably in your business or your life. That's not how polls work. It's something that the newspaper gets as a service. They put it out there. We can read it. We can not read it. We can rely on it. And after all, if you rely on a poll, hey, this person's ahead, this person's not ahead, and that's how you decide to vote, that too is a problematic theory as well, because presumably voters are going out and voting no matter what. So look, the complaint is a scathing indictment of Selzer. It may be true, it may be not. That really ultimately may not even matter as to whether or not there's a cause of action.
Danny, when we look at what happened at ABC News with them settling for this $15 million, first of all, was it typical that the network did not go to court and they did settle this? And also, when you see these two events happening, just what do you think this does mean for smaller news organizations who maybe don't have $15 million? Yeah,
first, as an aside, we as a country have lost our mind with these defamation lawsuits. And I say this as a plaintiff's attorney who has clients sometimes who have shattered femurs or permanent neck injuries. And those people, even in New York County, can expect maybe a couple million, but defamation cases, for some reason, injury to reputation is now worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So we definitely have what we call verdict creep in the area of defamation law. It's getting way up there. It's inflation galore when it comes to defamation verdicts. On the ABC front, looking at it strictly from a litigation standpoint, defendants usually don't settle this early in a case. And if they're going to give you what's called nuisance value, money to make a plaintiff go away, that is not $15 million. It's usually the cost of litigation, maybe $500,000, but not $15 million.
Danny Cevallos, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app, or follow us on social media.